fallout from all of this, a lot of different things that you could talk about. I mean, the tariffs are set to take effect tonight at midnight, so that would be Canada and China, right? Not Mexico, because that's been pushed off for at least a month. Our next guest in the Conservative National Taxpayers Union says that, yeah, like Mark, this could hurt the economy, and the president's been hearing from a number of conservatives on that front. Brandon Arnold joins us, Executive Vice President, National Taxpayers Union. Welcome, Brandon. You know, you're probably listening to Mark Zandi, who I'm not sure if you agree on every subject, but on this, do you?
Yeah, by and large, I think he's right. We are talking about a situation with Canada that's almost purely negative in nature. There's really no pressing concerns that we have with Canada. Certainly, there are still some small pockets of trade disagreements, particularly on dairy and lumber. There is the flow of illegal drugs, some illegal immigration, but nothing like what is happening on the southern border with Mexico. So there aren't these really huge issues that we have with other countries like China and elsewhere. To impose tariffs on one of our closest geopolitical allies, I think, is a huge strategic mistake.
How big? You know, right? That's the thing to try to kind of quantify in all of this for just a normal person in terms of how much they're going to feel this, or does that matter? You know, or does it matter how long the tariffs would stay in place? Because I think one of the reasons the market didn't, quote unquote, tank today, and it was down a little bit at the close, it came back on the Mexico news. But even when all of this news was out, yeah, it was down, 2%, a little less, a lot, is because there still seems to be this thinking among investors, at least from what I've heard, is that, well, he's not going to go that far, or he'll put it in place for a while and then he'll come back. In other words, that we're not entering a new normal. Isn't that the real risk, that it is a new normal?
Yeah, I think people are hedging their bets here. They see this as perhaps just a negotiating tool like we saw with Colombia. There was a threat. Colombia backed down. The tariffs disappeared. There is a hope, an expectation that that might be the case again. But if it's not, we're looking at what is potentially the largest tax increase that we've experienced since World War II. That's massive. And there are huge economic repercussions for that, of course. Americans could see their costs go up to the tune of about $850 per family.
Right.
That's some serious change, especially at a time when a lot of people are already maxed out when it comes to higher energy costs, higher housing costs, and so forth. So, yeah, this could really hurt Americans in the wallet. And then, as Mark explained, I think there's also a question about our stature in the world. Are we weakening our economic relationships, our geopolitical relationships, to the tune where people don't want to do business with us to the extent that they used to?
Yeah, there's a lot of it. It's funny how all these stories in some ways are intertwined. Even the USAID story, which I think is a China story. This is a China story. It's interesting. You can find ways to